Greetings, my people. This is DFG. Things are not going well right now, but it is what it is. Tonight's show is going to be a special, and we're going to be talking about religion. That's why I asked for people to come on. So, my opinions are my own and are not anybody else's. Your opinions are your own, not anybody else's. Keep it good. All right, now, saying that, the beginning is, hold on, let me plug in this thing. I need a dial. I'm also on YouTube tonight, and I'm making it happen. So, who's gonna come on with me tonight? Who do I have on with me? Oh, hello, Miss Nikki. I see you're in the not right position. You ready to cruise? Okay. I can't hear you.
I'm sorry. I'm saying I'm a little bit under the weather right now, but you sent me the link, so.
Okay. Yeah. The biggest thing right now is, as far as Black people and the church, what is your experience with the church?
Well, experience-wise, growing up, my parents really weren't part of a church per se until I got into high school. Of course, spending summers with my grandmother, we did do the traditional, in spring break as well, we did the traditional Easter program. Had to learn the Easter speech. And of course, I had stage fright. So, but yes, but my mother tried many different religions. My dad was not, or is not, a church-going person, but my mother tried so many different religions. She went from Baptist to Jehovah Witness. Then from Jehovah really almost destroyed our family, but that's neither here nor there. She gave that up. And eventually my senior year in high school, she finally found a Baptist church where I was baptized my senior year in high school. And was with the Baptist church until she finally retired and moved into I stayed in the Baptist realm and still am.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. That's pretty interesting. So, do you still regularly attend church?
Yes, I am a church-going member. I've been with my particular church since 1994. I grew up, well, my senior year in high school, I was in a very small Baptist church. So when I moved down here to Atlanta, I was also looking for something similar, small and intimate. I'm not with the mega churches. I'd rather have my pastor know who I am, know my family, and also will not have to go through security to talk to my pastor, like some of these big mega churches do here in Atlanta. So
yeah, so that's interesting. How big is your church now?
Um, we have maybe less than member wise. I don't know, but I do know I attend 7:30 service. We have two services. We have one at 7:30 and one at 10:45. And 7:30, of course, is very small. We have less than maybe 50 people. But when we have big programs and things like that, we can go over maybe 300. So,
300. That's not. I mean, to me, that's a mega church. The most people I've had in my church was about maybe 40 people. They were
oh,
mostly
okay.
family, so
Oh, okay.
you know how that goes. So that's a. So when it comes to today, Apple, how about your church experience?
I'm sorry, what?
No, I was saying Apple. I see apples on.
Hi.
Oh.
Yeah, as you know, I was Christian in the Catholic Church, and I went to Catholic Church until about preteen years, and then I started going to a Baptist church, and I kind of grew up in the Baptist church in my later teen years. Now, though, even though I absolutely believe in God and Jesus, I think I more lean towards being agnostic. I don't believe in organized religion because I did study. I was kind of interested in all religions, so I was reading up on all organized religions, and I kind of I lean towards that. I'd rather believe in God and in myself, spiritually. I don't believe that the way that the preachers and the priests and rabbis and imams, I think they give us their interpretation of the holy words. So I'd rather do that myself, even though I don't have the training or whatever. But I feel like instead of me going, and I will go to a Baptist church because our sister, like when I go visit her in Florida, I go to church with her and I don't mind it. I really have a good time there because that's what I'm used to, you know. But
Right.
yeah, I kind of lean towards, I'm not really into the organized religion because of the things that I've seen, that I witnessed personally. I don't think that's for me per se.
I got you. And that's that's kind of the experience of most black people these days. In the twenties up until the early 70s, the church was the bedrock of our community. I mean, they helped the poor, the widows. They organized drives. They helped clothe the naked and fed the hungry and sheltered the homeless. But as the 70s grew and you started getting these bigger and bigger churches, we had an issue where the pastor became not Jesus' representative, but was treated like Jesus himself. Where
Exactly.
you would have the pastor, you have all the women in the church swooning over the pastor, taking care of the pastor, not taking care of their house. They be in church 5 days a week and ain't taking care of their husband and kids, giving all their money to the church and, praying for that miracle that seemed to have never come. Well, the kids got wise to it. They saying, my mother goes to church every Sunday, every Tuesday, every Wednesday, every Friday. She proselytizes on Saturdays, and she what if she got out of that? When she passed away, they wouldn't even let her bury her at the church because she wasn't financial. She was on that church for 30, 40 years. And yet we still have those issues. We still have those issues today. I know that's not what people want to hear, but it's what's happening. So
And
one of the things,
to touch on that also, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I think that modern day Christianity had it kind of stepped away from what it was first intended. Like you said, it's more about monetizing the church and being the most popular than actually teaching, in my opinion.
I agree.
It's very seldom that I go to a church that I feel that the pastor and the congregation are really genuine, because it's like a fashion show and who is more popular, and it's like high school, and I can't deal with it. That's just me personally.
Oh, I got you. And a lot of times, the most judgmental ones supposed to be the holiest ones. Think about that.
Exactly.
So, and we were, like I said, the black church wasn't always like that. It wasn't always, it was about getting you right, like I said, taking care of folks. But now it's about that money to, Creflo Dollar. How much money do you think he actually donated?
Nothing, because he's got the church paying for everything.
How about TD Jakes?
The same.
Probably the same. And my frat, Pastor Jamal Bryant, I know he's frat and all, but he's still a mess. He is still a mess. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're right.
So, so when we talk about this, we ask, why aren't there, why isn't the black community tied into the church anymore? What do you think is one of the reasons, Apple?
I think, like I was saying, a lot of people that I spoke to, because I really don't like to discuss religion with people because it becomes a very hot topic. But a lot of people that I have spoken with, that the reason why they stopped going to church or they moved away from the black church is because, all the judgment and the pastors is having outside babies, and the ministers of music is, raping young girls,
Look, don't put it on just young girls.
Okay, well,
I will leave it at that.
Yeah. And I think, people got hold on a second, I'm sorry. I think people got like really what is the word in them? Disillusioned.
That's a good word to put.
And it's not how it used to be, in the 70s and 80s going to church. Going to church used to be a joyful thing. I mean, even as a young girl, I even went to the Spanish speaking churches. I really enjoyed church, I went to, like I said, I was very interested in religion until I actually studied each of them. I read every holy book. I think I read the Quran. I heard, of course, the Holy Bible, the Torah, and it's all based on the same beliefs. It's just how each religion interprets what those beliefs are. And I think, quote unquote, so-called Christians, they are by far, in my opinion, some of them, the worst. They're the most judgmental, the most elitist. It's not about Jesus anymore. It's about something that I just can't wrap my head around. And I think a lot of people feel the same way. And that's why they don't participate as much as, like our parents or our grandparents' generation did.
Right. What about you, Miss Nikki? What do you think keeps the Black community not leaning on the church?
Just not wanting to be judged. People have mistakes in their lives and constantly being talked down to and thinking that being around people that they think they are holier than thou and think that they're perfect and looked down upon. If I ever felt like that at a particular church, I would not be in attendance at all. I did attend at one time, went to a seminar through Creflo Dollar's church because I was working with individuals that went to his particular church. And to me, it just felt wrong, especially with all the stipulations that you had to go through in order to become a member of the church. And well, I heard that you had to turn in your tax returns for them to calculate how much your 10% was supposed to be.
Wow.
Having an ATM in the church for purposes, yeah, that's just not right. And to actually, like I said before, not being able to go and shake the hand or speak to the actual pastor, you have to go through different layers and be assigned to a particular church. And to actually have the pastor ask for donations so he can purchase his own private jet, so he can fly back and forth between the congregation here in Atlanta and the congregation that he had in New York. That just turned me off. I just did the seminar. I never attended one of his services because after doing the seminar, I was like, no, that's okay.
And I'm just saying though, that's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate in how things have been monetized and, for lack of a better term, turned into something that it shouldn't be. However, we have to look at it in terms of what can we do to get people back, whether it be the mosque, like Apple said, with because even in the black Muslims back in the day, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had many children.
Yes.
And that's what had 𝐿-ħaġ that's what got him disillusioned. And he went to the source, and he took his trip to Mecca and became a whole different person. His outlook changed, but it wasn't, but he was still for his people.
Yes.
So one of the things is that men aren't in the church anymore. There isn't that deacon board or young deacons or whole families going to church anymore. Now there's some, and they still go through, but a lot of times women go by themselves because they get with a guy who's like, he's not really churched. A lot of people are unevenly yoked. They have one foot what they call in the world, and one foot in the church. And you know how well that works. It doesn't. A lot of times we don't look at it like that because we're saying, hey, to each his own. Yeah, but if you want to build a stronger church, you got to build a stronger community. How do you build a strong community? You have to set the example and be disciplined, because that the system is waiting to knock us off our square, knock us off our balance. They want you to have children out of wedlock and before the age of 18. They want you on the system because the system means another broken black family. Another broken black family helps feed the criminal industrial, the prison industrial complex, which in turn helps maintain corporations, because Prison labor to them is free. They ain't even got to feed them. Think about that. Those prisoners are getting 13 cents and below, 30 up to 30 cents an hour, working 12-hour days. They don't get food from their bosses. They get food from the prison, which is halfway edible, especially if it's a private prison. So, and that those proppers get up. Why do you think they make so many things illegal? And the only institute that's not taxed these days is what? Church. Church has tax free, but a lot of the congregations today are kind of stretching it further and preaching politics out the pulpit. And that's another reason why people are not going, because they're not kind of, and I'm just going to stick to Christianity here. Kind of Christianity that we are practicing here in the United States is not Christ, and it's not like Christ. It's supposed to be Christ-like, but everything that Christ stood for, evangelicals call socialism. Feed the hungry, socialism. Clothe the naked, socialism. Get a gun, that's close to God. Support your company, that's for God. But they don't actually do anything that's in the Bible. The two greatest commandments. The first one was love God with all your heart, mind, and soul, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And the second one we have a problem with. Love thy neighbor as thyself. So the way we treat our neighbors, if that's loving yourself, you really don't like yourself. Because Kendra, you remember how we grew up. We lived in the project, but it was a family. It was a family.
It was very much close knit. Yes.
Now, even we've some of us have gone away and moved to different areas. We could be living next to somebody for 10 years and won't even know their first name. Think about that.
That is so true.
I'm definitely a generation where my dad moved away from his family. Everybody is retired. All of his siblings are retired except for one, and everybody's gone back to North Carolina. Now, my dad chose to move and not raise his kids in the community anymore. I was raised in the DC area, and now he's retired in Florida. Well, all of his other siblings and everybody's in North Carolina. So getting away from the tight-knit community definitely has hurt the church, because families would be raised together in the church. But my situation, I wasn't raised near my cousins, near my grandparents. I only got to see my cousins and grandparents at the summertime when I was out of school. So that's
kind of like our kids.
Yeah.
That's kind of like our kids, because our kids, our kids were raised. We were tight with our cousins. My aunt passed away last month, and we went to the funeral, and a lot of us hadn't seen each other in 20, 25 years.
Right.
But it was like we picked up right where we left off.
Right.
And was talking about how 20 of us would be in the living room, in my grandmother's living room, and who couldn't see, who couldn't go in Aunt Catherine's room. That was my aunt's past. That was like verboten. I never been in there. I'm 57 years old. But yeah,
that's so true.
but that's those were the things that we looked at as far as close knit, and you don't have to be blood to be family. However, blood should always keep in contact, and my siblings and I have done that over the last 4 years, where we purpose ourselves, maybe fighting, fussing, bickering, but we're gonna get together at least once a year or try to, just because we don't need to be meeting at funerals.
Right.
We really don't need to be meeting at weddings. How about just meeting just to meet?
I agree.
But you go to Black churches these days, and everything seems to be so cliquish. It's like if you're not in the in group, you're still going, but you're not being spiritually fed like the in group. People take go past the things, like they go past you. They ask you to do the work, but they don't want to give you the commensurate salary that goes with that work. And I don't mean money. I was thinking of the parable of those in the garden who started. Everybody's supposed to get the same amount, but we don't do that because we're flesh and bone and we live according to the flesh and bone world. But my take on that is, how do we get we got so materialistic that things became unrealistic, and we don't do what we need to do to become a neighborhood, to become a community, to become a family. We got people everywhere doing whatever they want, trying to follow them and clear folks, and we're getting clear folks results. Yeah, some of us are doing a lot better than the majority of us, understandably. But why go to 𝐉𝐨𝐢𝐳 if you're gonna be treated like just another N-word? Am I making sense?
Yeah, you are. You are.
Just making sure.
No, my church, I have to say that my church is not like that. We do go out in the community, and invite people in. Of course, everybody knows about Vacation Bible School. So every summer we have the Vacation Bible School. We have the community come out, and we feed them with food and we feed them with the word. And we just, for the first time, being a predominantly Black church, we just had our very first Korean family join our church last month. So and this past Sunday, they have two sons. The father can't speak any English, so the mother is translating for everybody, but their son also became part of the usher board. So we're trying to we do go out in the community and try to spread the word and invite people in. And for anyone that needs anything, we do go out and make sure that everyone is taken care of. So we do have, like you said, people, we don't have the traditional, we do have the traditional deacon board. So every family is assigned a deacon. Or if something does need to happen, or you do need to get in contact with the pastor, you just walk up to him and he knows you by name and knows the family and does take the time to get to know everyone. So that's why I've been at this particular location since 1994, because I love the feeling of family, and that's really important to me, since was here in Atlanta by myself and I needed to find a church home. And I found one and have been there ever since. So
that's what's up. Now that's what's up. That's how most churches should be.
Yes.
However, from observation, we don't see it that way.
No, and there's a lot of churches that have been popping up, like here in Georgia. Of course, you can actually start a church in either a shopping plaza, or if you just dislike something that the pastor may have done, you'll just say, well, I'll just start my own church up, and then just get frustrated and just start something up. But my church has been of course we've had issues, and we've had some turmoil and stuff, but we've been able to stay together, and we've been in a community since slavery. We're about to celebrate, I think, 148 years this coming July. So
that's impressive.
I think it's a blessing. It's unbelievable how we've been able to stay together, and especially the last few years with the pandemic. And we've lost a lot of church members, and it just hurts my heart that we've lost so many people. But we were able to be there for each other and to support and to love one another. That's our main goal.
That's
So
how it should be. A lot of times we don't look at the cohesiveness because we don't, and this is a product of us coming up, especially us Gen Xers. You know, our parents were always working. Or if
yes,
they wasn't working, they were doing other things. And Kendra know what I'm talking about. So we basically raised ourselves. So we have a hard time listening to folks. We have a hard time listening to folks. So when we hear something we don't like, guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna go make another church.
right.
And
we also learned to question everything. Don't take anything by face value.
Exactly. So with that, you know, with them raising us like they did, now they're showing what, you know, they're showing what independence truly feels like. Because we're just dangerous enough to know, you know, about computers and internet and all that good stuff, but smart enough to know that you don't put all your business out on the internet.
No.
I tell my frat brother, I said, thank goodness there was no internet when we were coming up. We were in college. None of us, because we did the same stupid things they do today. I can almost guarantee you that. When you see some people our age now doing stupid stuff. So, but you know what happens is as people get more knowledge, they question things more. Like Apple was saying, as they question more things, you know, the standard answers when we was younger, because I said so, because I said so, because I said so. That was, you know, why we got to do this? I said so.
You know, when I started questioning the most is when I see a pastor and the first lady come in with fur coats and these big, nice, fancy cars, and meanwhile, the old lady, the usher board lady, she's on Social Security and giving 10% of her income, and you know, and still giving to the collection plate and the building fund, and the building fund been going on since the church started, and it's still the same church, same building, and the pastor's anniversary, the pastor's, you know, and that made me think, like, you know, it's all a scam. You know, it might be some genuine churches out there, and it might be some genuine religious, you know, leaders out there, but it's just that it's, you know, everything. How can you teach me and guide me as you're supposed to as a religious leader, and you're doing the things that you're telling me that I shouldn't do, and I'm paying you to tell me that, but you're doing it? Now everybody's human, and it's human nature to, you know, make mistakes and sin or whatever, but you're sitting there condemning me for my sins, and your sins are equal or greater than mine.
Right.
And that's what I don't respect.
No, that makes sense. You know, what happens is, do you know where the word is actually being preached like it's supposed to? In the empty churches. Because people have itching ears. Look at the crowd of look at the Agame crew, you know, the Red Hat crew. They only want to hear what they want to hear. They don't want to hear about logic. They don't want to hear about, they just want to hear that there are good people and bad people, and they're the good people. Everybody else is bad. That's not a true church. A true church's word comes and it convicts you. It makes you think about what you did and have you questioning your life choices and wanting to sincerely and utterly make a change. That's why they say repent. I mean, repent, accept, and be baptized. That's the formula. And the formula for over 2,000 years. So you have to look at it as in who is telling what's good for you versus what's good for your ear. There's a difference. What's good for you is not always what's good for your ear, and not what's good for your ear is not always good for you. Let me explain. You have someone who says you can come to church, come as you are. That's perfectly fine. However, you shouldn't say
okay, but that's lip service, because it says come as you are, and then they look at you when you do. If you come to church with some jeans and sneakers on, and it's
right, but that's what I'm saying is like come as you are, and that's where the church is supposed to. I mean, in my opinion, that's where the church is supposed to come and help. Say, hey, I noticed you've been wearing jeans. Do you need some slacks or something? Let's look a little more formal. Here's some shoes. Here's a shirt. You see what I'm saying? That's a true church.
And that's how it's supposed to be, but it's absolutely not like that anymore. It's absolutely not like that.
And also, what you also got to look at it is that some, the ones who actually do that, they require a lot. For people who are responsible, much is required of them. So that's why we hold preachers, teachers, and doctors at a different standard than we hold other people to standards, because they're supposed to set and maintain the example. So we do that, and we keep it 100. We keep it 100, like you said. People are human. Humans make mistakes, but you can't tell people to do what you're not doing. You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And expect people. If you tell people to not do what you're doing, you're gonna get those people that will leave at a heartbeat because they're not invested. How are you gonna buy a Ford from a Ford dealership if the person selling you the Ford is driving a Chrysler? Think about that. Or a Toyota. You basically tell me you don't believe in what you say. Why should I believe in what you say? It could be the greatest Ford in the world. Here's this Lincoln MKT. It's got all the bells and whistles. It love you a good time, a long time. But you driving that Toyota Corolla. Why are you driving that Toyota Corolla and you trying to sell me this? Oh, don't worry about what I drive.
Right.
No. If you believe in it, be about that. And a lot of and when I'm seeing in the Black church, a lot of people are not about what they're preaching. I ain't gonna say practice because we all be practicing, but a lot of times we're selling Toyotas and we drive a BMW.
It's like the old idiom, do as I say, not as I do. And that just doesn't work for me.
I mean, yes, I agree.
Because even though you may have an experience that, what I'm doing is not right, but you're still doing it.
Right.
You tell me, oh, don't drink, but they drink in the Bible.
Yeah. And
it's a lot of hypocrisy. Huh? I'm sorry.
No, you're right. There's a lot of hypocrisy and a lot of and a lot of whataboutisms.
Mm-hmm.
So how can we get? And I know we ain't gonna have no answers here because we're just talking. We're just talking because on the DFG's corner, you never know what you're gonna get. Speaking of that, I got to talk about my sponsor, which is the Real Golden Girls product. The Real Golden Girls product is made by the Real Golden Girls, which Apple happens to be one of. There are tumblers, flyers, whatever you do. My girl, the Chocolate Pearl, can make for you. I'm about to run this commercial. If you give me a minute, give me a second, I'm gonna run this commercial. And just enjoy the. Where the heck did I put it? Oh gosh, don't tell me I can't find it. I cannot find it. I will find it though. Give me a second. Oh, this is a little different. So let me try this again. Okay, there it is. And we're back. Were you guys able to hear that?
Mm-hmm.
My first time running the commercial.
Yes, we can hear it. And speaking from experience, the body butters are top tier. My son even stole mine.
Oh boy. What's the best fragrance to get?
She had licked me all over. That's what she recommends.
Yeah, that's the one he stole.
So yeah, they're different flavors. You see her email, just email her, tell her what you want. She's not Jesus, but she'll be on that main line. I just wanted to say hey, you know me. I got that golden voice. And of course, I'm your choice. So let me be myself and my smooth self and keep going. But I wanna thank each and every one that's out there in YouTube land. I want to thank my special call-in guest today, Miss Nikki, and one of my favorites, Miss Apple. You can join us every Tuesday night, 8:30 on YouTube Live. Sometimes I do a call-in show like this. If you have a subject, hit me up at delight7, that's DELITE, the number 7, at gmail.com with a subject that I could talk about. I do research and I do talk a lot. I just want y'all to know. But I'm going to cut this one short because I've been dealing with a little from a little disadvantage today, but I'm going to say my favorite catchphrase before I go. Y'all got anything before I go, Miss Nikki?
No, sir.
What about you, Apple?
No, I'm glad I was able to get on this week.
And if I find chocolate pearl, tell her I'm gonna get her.
Because this was definitely a subject that she would have been able to contribute to.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna get her.
Definitely. But love y'all, love everybody, love my audience. Continue to like, share, and subscribe. It helps the algorithm, helps me reach a broader audience. And finally, I'm going to say, never make love by the garden gate. So love is blind and neighbors ain't. Thank you, each and every one of you, for participating. And